They were hearing the gunshots after seeing the gunman running in, and it's a big, echoey store. Imagine all of these bullets going off. Kroger's a pretty big place, right? It can be difficult to identify where those gunshots are coming from, but a lot of those people did on their way out. They saw some of the victims laying down on the ground, and they called police and tried to get them some help.
All right. WREG's Luke Jones, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. Again, just thinking about what some of those witnesses said and what Luke played for us and Andrew a short time earlier. People went to the floor. They heard the sound. It sounded like it kept getting closer. They didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, they didn't know where the gunshots were coming from. If he walked in, and that's what we're hearing now, that the shooter walked in and just immediately started firing. If you're in the produce area or you in the meat area, you don't know where that's coming from the front of the store. So people are hiding and people are trying to just get out and get away. Those that may have been in the front, Jason said he saw some people running out, saw two women embracing and running out. So at that point, people are just trying to get away from the gunfire.
So we heard what people were hiding, or at least one person on the rooftop, or at least stayed up there for some time. One person hiding in freezers.
In the freezer.
It's just
a lot unfolding.
Amazing.
WREG's Zanetta Lowe has been on the scene since early this afternoon as well when all of this started happening, and actually seeing some of the first ambulances and rescue crews going to that area, right, Zanetta?
That's right, April. I actually arrived when some of those first police cruisers got here on the scene. Myself and our photographer, we were parked way up at the front because we got here so earlier. I want to set the scene for you on this side of the store. I know Luke was just talking about what's happening on the back side. Again, the police tape, crime scene tape, yellow tape here right behind me. Not as what I would describe as chaotic as it was before, but there is an indication that they're going to be here for a very long time. I'm seeing law enforcement officers bringing each other water, food, that sort of thing, because it's going to be a long night. Some of the time that I was away from you, we had an opportunity to speak to some people inside the store. One person who was coming to get groceries and has her mother-in-law works in the store, so her immediate thought was her mother-in-law, trying to get to her. They had the employees sort of in an area, they were all together, and then all finally came out, many of them just taking a break to walk across the street to the subway to get something to eat, to get some water, use the restroom, not really knowing what's next and still living in the emotion of going through what had just happened to them. We had an opportunity to speak with one of the employees who was inside the store when all of that happened, and she had to think about her own life and was able to manage to compose herself to think about her fellow employees and customers who were in the store at the same time. I want you to take a listen.
All I heard was the guy coming through the deli part, and we heard three gunshots. It sounded like they were balloons. And when I noticed that it was gunshots, I told two of my employees and 3 customers to follow me in the back. So we ran. And when we ran, we came through the back. And there's an opening back there, like in the receiving department, there's a door. We had to go to the back. And there's another area where they got the trash cans and everything like that. So I closed the door to the area, and we all ducked. And that's when the guy came out there with the gun. All I know is when I heard the gunshots, he came through the receiving department, through the back of the store, by a break room, then went to the back and came through the back of the receiving department. Because there's a big little small door. When they bring in the deliveries, that's where he came through. That's where we came out of it. He came out of it also.
When you saw everything at the beginning and you got to your employees and your customers, what was going through your mind? I know you've been working there a while, haven't you?
I've been there for 32 years.
32 years?
Yes, and my only concern was my coworkers and my employees. My coworkers and my customers. Really, I'm still in shock right now, but I was calm. I was calm and told the customers and my coworkers, just sit down and relax. You'll be okay. But the one, I'm still worried about my coworker that got shot in the head. I'm still worried about him, but I think he's okay. He was alert. He said, I want to go home. Sorry. And he says, I want my mother. Call my mother. So I called his mother. His mother didn't answer the phone. She didn't answer the other phone either. The other phone was busy. So I still got to call her to let her know that he's at the hospital. He was alert and talking. Right now, I don't know if he's still alert or not.
You heard it there. That was Bridgenetta Dickerson, an employee of 32 years at this Kroger. If you've ever shopped here, you've likely seen her face. She works in the front, often helping people out when they're trying to check out. She placed a phone call for one of her fellow employees that she said had been shot. She placed a phone call to his mother. You heard her describe it right there, but she said she somehow managed to stay composed that entire time because her only thought was letting everybody know they were going to be okay. She said she believed they were going to be okay, and she wanted to reassure her fellow coworkers, and the customers who were in that area at the time. She mentioned that they have had training before. Not sure if that was active shooter training, but they have had some sort of crisis training before, and clearly that all kicked in because she was able to lead them to safety quickly, and so many employees were able to do things like that. Sorry, I'm not sure. You're probably hearing some sirens going off around me. That's Collierville Fire and Rescue, a ladder truck that's passing us here on Byhalia, headed toward Poplar. Not sure we cannot tell if that is related at all. They just made a right on Poplar. But anyway, that's what that noise was, if you heard it. There are still employees coming out right now. I see a few others slowly making their way. Here's another ladder truck. We'll check on that and see what's going on. But employees still making their way home, making their way to their cars. I heard from another young lady who said she had a relative that worked here. Her car was in the parking lot, but she had not found her. So people still searching for answers, a lot of questions, just wanting to make sure their fellow coworkers and their loved ones are okay. We're going to hear from police again at 6:10, so about an hour and a half or so. We'll get another update from them, maybe some more specific information. Of course, you've already heard it from Chief Lane, 13 shot, 1 dead, also the shooter as well. So we're going to continue to gather details out here on the scene and bring you the latest developments, of course, on air and online. Reporting live at Kroger in Collierville, Zanetta Lowe, WREG News Channel 3.
All right, Zanetta, thank you very much. It's been on the scene since the very beginning. The compassion that we are hearing about, that we're seeing from some of these co-workers who are looking out for their fellow man, their fellow woman, and how they wanted the best for them to make sure that they were safe.
Yeah, she was a 32-year employee.
Yes.
And she was concerned about her employees and the other customers that are in the store. You've been there that long and you've probably never seen anything like this. And after your 32 years, and then you go into work one day and somebody comes in with a gun and opens fire, nobody would expect it.
Right, your life changes, lives are lost. I mean, this is just an extremely tragic situation that no one could have ever, envisioned.
Yeah. Of course, we're continuing to cover this. We thank you for joining us. You're watching News Channel 3 at 4:30 right now. We want to give you the information again to set the stage. Some of you may just be coming home from work, getting home a little early and wondering what is going on. But around 1:30 this afternoon, Collierville police got a call of an active shooter at the Collierville Kroger. That is the Kroger at New Byhalia Road and Poplar Avenue. That a person had gone into the front door of the Kroger and opened up fire and started shooting.
Yeah, Chief Dale Lane telling us 13 people shot, 12 injured. Some of the injuries are very serious. Let's take a listen to Chief Dale Lane right now from earlier today.
We know that we have quite a few witnesses. We're bringing in additional detectives for people that were in the store. There were numerous employees that were working. I know we found people hiding in freezers and in locked offices, and they were doing what they had been trained to do: run, hide, fight. And so, I hate that we had to do it here.
Did you give us an found inside the store or outside?
That's part of the investigation. I don't want to get into that.
Can you give us an idea? Can you give us an idea of what kind of weapon he was using?
No.
If they big.
I'm not going to go into that at this point. Let's get through the investigation. Remember, we're 2 hours away from the most horrific event that's occurred in Collierville history.
think that sums it up.
It does.
The most horrific event in Collierville history. But he went on to say that trying to find, I guess, some solace or some optimism in this, that Collierville is, of course, also resilient. I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult to get through the next few hours, the next few days, the next few weeks for so many people out there affected directly by this, but he says they are resilient.
One thing somebody did ask is what type of weapon was used, and he said that's part of the investigation. They're going to be looking into that. But it was interesting that the witnesses that we have heard from said that it was rapid gunfire. So it was just pow, 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 like a busting balloon or something.
Right.
A balloon bursting, so it was pretty rapid. So that will be something that we'll be taking a look at and getting to hear more about in the coming days about what type of weapon was used and how he was able to shoot at least 13 people being injured in that gunfire. And those people, a lot going to the hospital. WRAG Stacey Jacobson is outside Regional 1, one of the hospitals where a lot of them are going, and families probably still trying to make their way there and find out what they can, even though the situation is a lot calmer than it was earlier, Stacey.
Yeah, April, it's a lot calmer, but unfortunately that's because we have learned that there are 9 patients inside Regional 1 right now that came from this shooting at the Kroger in Collierville. According to Regional 1 officials, they say 4 of them are in critical condition, 5 of them in non-critical condition. In our last break, I walked up a little bit closer. There are several family members that are sitting outside the hospital just waiting to get updates and news. Understandably, they weren't in any situation to talk with any kind of news reporter at this point, but we do know that they are waiting there, just trying to get information. I also learned that right now, according to staff at the hospital, the guest policy is 1 guest per day. That's, of course, because of COVID protocol. It's unclear if they're going to be following that for these patients. So we don't know at this point if the ones that are waiting outside are out there because one family member is inside. Sorry, I'm just gonna pause. We have a helicopter taking off right now. And that's a helicopter that we actually saw just land about 5 to 10 minutes ago, landed right there on top of the hospital. Now, again, we know there are 9 patients from Collierville in here, but we know, according to Chief Lane, that 13 people ended up in area hospitals. 2 of them are over at Methodist University. So that still leaves a couple unaccounted for. And I'm wondering if that helicopter that we just saw land here maybe was transporting someone from another area hospital here to where the trauma center is at Regional 1. I'm going to try to find more information about that. But the latest that we have is that there are 9 patients here total. Earlier, we showed you the string of ambulances from multiple agencies that were lined up here outside of Regional 1. At one point, we counted 8, and we saw multiple people coming in from some of those ambulances. So now we know 9 were transported here, 2 at Methodist University. And just again to reiterate, we have confirmed with Le Bonheur that they do not have any patients there. So no children were taken from Kroger in Collierville as a result of this shooting. I've also reached out to Baptist to find out if they have any patients and at what location they might be at. And as soon as I get answers for that, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you, Stacey. And as she said, that some other patients may have been gone to other hospitals on their own, maybe not even taken by ambulance or taken by the helicopter, that they may have arrived at hospitals, including Fayette County, is what she said, that some people may have just been there as well.
Going to several different hospitals, like you said. We also want to let you know that we're standing by for another briefing from Collierville Police. It should be coming to us around 6:10 this evening. Of course, we'll take that live for you here on WREG. But again, we're saying 13 people shot, 12 injured, 1 person dead. The suspected shooter also dead.
Right, and we don't have any identity on that shooter. His name, they said he, so we assume it is a male. We don't have a name or an age, or if he had any affiliation with that store at any point, if he knew anybody in the store at any point, or if this was random. All of that will be a part of the investigation and just what type of weapon he used and just why he walked into that Kroger store this afternoon around 1:30 and opened fire. And like we said, that it forced the workers that were there, the employees, the workers, the customers running for cover, trying to get into closets and freezers and just trying to get away from the gunfire.
You know, they had to be traumatized.
Yeah.
Traumatized as anybody would be to see that right there in front of their face. People, like you said, hiding in freezers on a rooftop, running down aisles, and again, not knowing what's happening. And I guess, again, what also causes the confusion and the distance, of course, when you go back to the hospitals, is the COVID situation there,
Exactly.
which makes things even worse for those trying to get answers, for those trying to see those loved ones who've been injured. This is just a situation you can't even just put words to.
But Stacey alluded to it too. She said that even before this happened, that hospitals were telling emergency crews, try not to bring anybody here. We
Sure.
are full, our beds are full, and we can't take anybody else. And so then you have an emergency like this where 13 people injured. That is an emergency. And these people have to be taken somewhere, but we know that they will be taken care of.
And we know that, you know, many of the ICU beds have been full here in the Mid-South because of COVID-19. So it's just everything just piled onto each other, especially on a day like today.
And a lot of different agencies involved in this. Now, this happened in Collierville, and of course, we have the Collierville Police Department. We heard from Chief Dale Lane. We have the Shelby County Sheriff's Department, but also Germantown Police, Memphis Police, ATF, when you're talking about this weapon. And they also said the FBI is on the scene. There are a lot of agencies involved in this. We saw some of them up on the roof. We saw officers on the roof trying to go through what was happening on the roof and go down to shoot, and trying to see. They're going to be going over that store with a fine-tooth comb, everything. That may be a piece of the evidence. So it's probably likely that, like they said, that scene will be active for a while.
Sure. We mentioned a little bit earlier, we've been hearing from a lot of elected leaders from the city of Memphis, Shelby County, state leaders. Heard from Representative Ramesh, or rather Senator Ramesh Akbari. She says, quote, "My heart aches for our families who are caught in yet another act of senseless gun violence. My family is praying for these victims and their caregivers, but it's going to take collective action from all of us to heal the scars of this tragedy moving forward. No one should ever have to watch over their shoulder at work or pick up while they're picking up groceries. This cannot be the cost of living in a free society."
And they saw a lot, and they had to look over their shoulders.
Yes, they did.
In fact, Zanetta Lowe talked with one of those employees. You just heard from her, and she talked about after 32 years coming to work today and what she saw when that gunman opened fire.
All I heard was the guy coming through the deli part, and we heard three gunshots. It sounded like they were balloons. And when I noticed that it was gunshots, I told two of my employees and 3 customers to follow me in the back. So we ran. And when we ran, we came through the back. And there's an opening back there, like in the receiving department, there's a door. We had to go to the back. And there's another area where they got the trash cans and everything like that. So I closed the door to the area, and we all ducked. And that's when the guy came out there with the gun. All I know is when I heard the gunshots, he came through the receiving department, through the back of the store, by a break room, then went to the back and came through the back of the receiving department. Because there's a big little small door. When they bring in the deliveries, that's where he came through. That's where we came out of it. He came out of it also.
When you saw everything at the beginning and you got to your employees and your customers, what was going through your mind? I know you've been working there a while, haven't you?
I've been there for 32 years.
32 years?
Yes, and my only concern was my coworkers and my employees. My coworkers and my customers. Really, I'm still in shock right now, but I was calm. I was calm and told the customers and my coworkers, just sit down and relax. You'll be okay. But the one, I'm still worried about my coworker that got shot in the head. I'm still worried about him, but I think he's okay. He was alert. He said, I want to go home. Sorry. And he says, I want my mother. Call my mother. So I called his mother. His mother didn't answer the phone. She didn't answer the other phone either. The other phone was busy. So I still got to call her to let her know that he's at the hospital. He was alert and talking. Right now, I don't know if he's still alert or not.
Ms. Dickerson's composure there is just unlike anything we've seen before. But hearing that she had worked there for 32 years with many of those employees, these were not just employees, I could only imagine for her. These were like family members.
Family members, yeah. And she was telling them, she said she told them, just sit down, we're going to be okay. You're going to make it. It's going to be okay. And you have to have that calming factor from someone.
She had it.
And she did it.
And now she's having to also reach out to other family members, like one of the victim's mother. You know, again, these things should not happen, no matter where you live. But unfortunately, they do.
And it puts everyone on guard. And in fact, some of the local schools were put on lockdown in that area, not knowing exactly what was going on. WREG's Jordan James is at one of the schools. And Jordan, I guess schools, you know, you have to take precautions.
Yeah, April, that's absolutely right. While all of this was going on, the district issued a shelter in place, essentially not letting anyone in or out of the school while this was going on. Law enforcement personnel were also seen on campus while this happened. You know, as you guys mentioned, 13 people were shot. One person was dead. We showed up here on campus shortly after classes let out. There was parents, you know, really emotional about the situation. They kept on saying, you never think something like this will happen here in your community. You know, the district told us that they issued these precautions out of abundance of caution, and moving forward, they plan on having grief counselors on campus, you know, as a result of this shooting. But as the assistant superintendent told me, everyone is impacted by this tragedy, given how close-knit this community is.
Okay, Jordan. Yeah, because a lot of times, and this was happening shortly before school was letting out. So I guess in that instance that these parents need to be on guard, because you can't have kids getting out and going into cars and parents picking up kids. Some of those parents may even have been planning to go to the Kroger store when you don't know exactly what the situation is. So school staff have to take precautions.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, April. You know, I spoke with a mother who said that these are one of these days where you just hug your children close after everything that they've been through. You know, as I said, this tragedy impacts everyone, and many parents say that they were happy with the precautions that the school took.
All right. Jordan James, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. We're also hearing from the folks at Kroger, who obviously officials have been on the scene. They say they will be a part of the Collierville Police Chief's briefing this evening at 6:10. So we'll let you know what Kroger officials have to say coming up in about an hour or so from now.
And we also, Stacey Jacobson, like we said, is at the Regional 1, but she has also been talking with the people at Baptist just to find out exactly where these victims are. We have 13 victims. Now, she has told us that 9 are at Regional 1, and she said 2 were at Methodist University, but she did make a call to Baptist Hospital, and she is saying that Baptist tells us that they have received 1 patient at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Collierville, so that is close by to where the Kroger is, and that patient has been discharged. So that patient has been let out of the hospital, so their injuries may not have been as bad, and they have 2 patients at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Memphis. So that accounts for some more of those patients. And Chief Dell Lane said that these injuries and these numbers may change because some people may have gone on their own. They don't know the extent of some injuries. Some people may have said, I'm okay, I don't need to go to the hospital. Then they get home and realize they may need to go to the hospital. So that may change.
We just received a statement from Congressman Steve Cohen on the mass shooting at the Collierville Kroger. The quote is, "The shooting in Collierville today is another horrific incident caused by someone who undoubtedly had mental health issues and a firearm. That is a deadly combination. My thoughts are with the victims and their families, and with all in Collierville and the greater Memphis community." Congressman Steve Cohen.
Of course, the officers and investigators are going to be looking over information about who this person is, and
Yes.
he mentioned mental health issues, about what his background is. That car that they said, his SUV that they're looking at, hopefully that will have some clues in it about who he is, what his state of mind was, and just also on his person. They said they were going over taking things off of his body. He is deceased, but checking his pockets and going through those sorts of things, just to find out more information about what led up to this. What was he doing before 1:30 this afternoon?
What precipitated all of this? Everybody definitely wants to know. And again, going back, April, what you were saying about Chief Dale Lane of Collierville, still just stating what I guess so many folks who especially live in that community and that town and city feel, that this is, quote, the most horrific event in Collierville history. And that's sad that those words have to ever be said, no matter where you live.
Right, and especially something that all of us do every day.
Yeah.
Make a trip to the grocery store.
Minding your own business.
Going
Just
to the
maybe
grocery-
running in, as they say,
Yeah.
just for a second.
Or going to work at the Kroger. And so you never expect anything like this, but the unexpected happened today.
That it did, unfortunately. Let's check it back in with WREG's Luke Jones. Luke, what do you have for us?
Well, hearing some new developments from a source of mine, that the shooter is in fact a Kroger employee who was fired today and ended up coming back to the store, grabbing a gun, going inside and opening fire, as we've all been hearing this afternoon. The 12 gunshots inside, 12 people injured and 1 killed. The gunman later killed himself, police believe. Those victims at various hospitals right now, and we're still waiting for updates on all of their conditions. The good news, though, we know no children were injured in this. Let's take a look live back at this Kroger right now. We are situated around the back where about an hour ago we saw police expand this crime scene. And actually, Ian, if you could pan over there, we are seeing them walk away with these little roller suitcases. I'd imagine they're full of evidence. We see them walking back towards the front of the store with those. 2 police officers there, 2 roller cases with what could potentially contain evidence. And back over here at the back of the store, we have seen police go in and out of that door for the last 2 hours or so, right where those evidence markers are. It's our understanding this is where some employees and some customers may have been hiding out. We are told by multiple witnesses they were taking cover in the freezer from that gunman before police came in and were able to safely evacuate them from the store. Do want to really quickly take a listen to what one of those witnesses has to say if we have that interview. And we don't have that interview, unfortunately, but they do tell us they were at the front of the store checking out when this all went down around 1:30 this afternoon. Suddenly they see the gunman run in carrying what they describe as a large gun. Police would not specify what type of gun was used in this shooting, and that was followed by a bullet, a gunshot, 1 pop, and more pops, all totaling about 12 or 13 there. Police confirming 13 people at least shot, but we're still waiting to learn if there are more victims that could surface from this. Back to you.
Okay, Luke, we want to make sure that we make it clear that you got that information, the information that you got about who this person was. Is that official information from police, or is this tip information that you've received?
This is a law enforcement source of mine. Obviously, we can't get into those details. An anonymous law enforcement source. on the record at the press conference this afternoon, police wouldn't get into any of those details, but we are expecting a press conference from them in about an hour now, sometime in the 6 o'clock hour, and hopefully they'll be able to confirm all of that for us. We certainly are awaiting that, but right now we asked them a lot of very specific questions, most of which they were unable to answer. We asked them what type of gun the shooter was using, any possible motive. We even asked them where the shooter was found, and they would not tell us that. My source is saying he was found in an office inside the Kroger, and based on the layout of stores, it appears that office could potentially be in the back of the store, and that is where we have seen a lot of police going in and out this afternoon. And one more detail, I was told that the shooter was employed at the sushi stand inside the Kroger, but we certainly await to see what police are going to say when the chief speaks to us again in the 6 o'clock hour.
All right, Luke, we will definitely be listening and, like you said, awaiting a word from Chief Dale Lane around 6:10 this evening, and apparently Kroger officials have indicated to us they will also be on the scene as well. Hopefully we will hear from them to give us an update on what they can share with us also. But again, retracing some of the things that we know from this afternoon, all of this taking place at the Collierville Kroger on Byhalia and Poplar around 1:30 this afternoon. We heard from Chief Dale Lane saying the suspected gunman dead, self-inflicted wound, 13 people as a whole shot, 12 injured, 1 person dead. Injuries of many of those still very serious. Many of the victims have been taken to Memphis area hospitals and as far away as Fayette County. A lot of people in that store at that time. People hiding in freezers, we're told, hiding in offices on the rooftop of the Kroger. We heard Chief Dale Lane tell us during a news conference this afternoon, as he put it, the most horrific event in Collierville history. But he went on to say the people of Collierville are resilient. They are a resilient community. Right now, let's check back in with WREG's Andrew Ellison. Andrew, what do you have for us?
Yeah, well, let me get out of the way here and show you this. As you can see, a command center of posts has been set up right here in the Kroger parking lot. And if we turn our camera a little bit to the left, I want to talk about this for a moment. A short time ago, or maybe about a half hour ago, a number of Kroger employees were huddled over here to the left. If we turn our camera, you can see there's some law enforcement officers gathered over there right now. As I said, some Kroger employees were there. About a half hour ago, they were holding hands, hugging each other, some crying together, some praying together. Matter of fact, we spoke with a woman, Bridgenetta Dickerson, who was working one of the cash registers when the shots rang out. She says it sounded like rapid gunfire, and so she ran to the back of the store with other employees and tried to hide, but sadly, the horror didn't end there. I think we have some sound that you might be able to listen to. Let me see if we have that. Take a listen if we do. I'm sorry, we don't have that sound quite yet. You will hear from that cash register worker shortly. Now, let me take you through it for any of our viewers who are just joining us or trying to get a handle on what happened. Collierville police say this call for this active shooter situation came in about 1:30. They say SWAT team and patrol officers went into the store here on New Byhalia Road, going aisle to aisle, getting employees and customers out of the store while attending to the wounded. Police say some employees were hiding in freezers, others in locked offices. One worker had to be evacuated from the roof. He was doing some work up there at the time. In total, for now, police say 13 people were shot. 1 sadly died, while others were taken to surrounding hospitals. Police say the shooter is dead, and at this time they believe he killed himself. At last check, officers believe the suspect's vehicle is in the parking lot, but it's unclear if they've entered the vehicle at this time. As I mentioned, throughout the afternoon, we've seen employees, workers huddled together. Matter of fact, a local pastor came out here to comfort these workers, presumably comfort some of the customers who may have been still out here, praying with them, hugging them, holding them, trying to help them cope with this awful, awful tragedy. We had an initial press briefing at about 3 this afternoon. Officers tell us there'll be another press briefing just after 6 this evening. Certainly a developing situation, and we're going to stay on top of it. Back to you.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much for that. We do want to also let you know we received a statement from Kroger saying that we are deeply saddened by the incident that occurred at our Kroger store located on New Byhalia Road in Collierville. The entire Kroger family offers our thoughts, prayers, and support to the individuals and families of the victims during this difficult time. We are cooperating with local law enforcement who have secured the store and parking lot. The store will remain closed while the police investigation continues, and we have initiated counseling services for our associates. That comes from Kroger. News Channel 3 at 5 starts now.
From WREG in Memphis, this is News Channel 3 at 5.
We are continuing to follow breaking news at this hour. A mass shooting at Kroger in Collierville. 13 people shot, 2 people dead, including the shooter. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the News at 5. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
I'm Alex Coleman. This all started around 1:30 with an active shooter situation at the Kroger on New Byhalia and Poplar Avenue. Collierville police confirming 13 people were shot and have serious injuries, and 1 person died. The shooter is also dead, police say, possibly from a self-inflicted gunshot.
We have Team 3 coverage of this incident from multiple scenes across the Mid-South tonight. Let's start with WREG's Luke Jones, who is at the scene at Kroger. Luke, give us an update.
And we are still waiting for that shooter to be identified. Could be several hours, possibly until tomorrow morning before that happens. But we can confirm to you, and this is from a law enforcement source, that the shooter was a disgruntled Kroger employee. He worked here at the Collierville Kroger in the sushi stand and was fired today. And then apparently at some point during the day, he returned here and opened fire in the store, shooting 13 people, 1 of whom died. We were speaking to witnesses all afternoon, and they were all telling a very similar story, and that is that around 1:30 they were in the front of the store checking out, about to walk outside the store when this guy runs in. He was carrying what they say was a really large gun, and then they hear all of these gunshots, one after the other, after the other, after the other, at least a dozen. Some people I spoke to were losing count of it. That's how much shooting was going on inside this Kroger. We actually have some interviews with those witnesses, and if we have them ready to go, I want you to go ahead and take a listen firsthand.
Whoever the shooter was moving as they were going, because it sounded like it was coming closer to me. Even though I was running away, it sounded like it was coming, more. I don't know if it was echoing from the back of the store.
I couldn't believe it. And then there was a lady that had been shot on the floor, and I was really worried about her.
So imagine just for a second being in that situation. You're in a contained area, a grocery store, you hear gunshots, have no idea whereabouts in the store they're coming from, but they do sound like they're coming closer to you. So at that point, what options do you have? Many people we spoke to say they just ran out the front of the store. Other people, I guess, they just weren't in a position to. They actually had to run to the back of the store and take shelter in a cooler with other customers and employees. At one point, we're told employees were actually ushering people back there. Really quickly want to draw your attention, though, just to this scene that's been developing in the back of the Kroger store. We see what appear to be evidence markers there on the ground. We see police conferencing with each other just outside that door there. And earlier this afternoon, we saw multiple police officers going in and out of a hatch on the roof. They appear to be spending a lot of time on the roof. Now, we'd heard some reports earlier. A lot of people in the area were thinking the gunman was on the roof at one point. That was pretty much debunked by police. They say, in fact, the chief says he himself went up on the roof to rescue a Kroger employee who'd been assigned to do some tasks up there when the shooting happened, had no idea what was going on, and so they had to go ahead and bring him down. But obviously, at first, police, they don't know if he's a threat. They don't know if he's the shooter, so a lot of people do report seeing him with his hands up and police surrounding him as he stood there on the roof. We're going to be out here for the rest of the hour and through the evening. Keep it tuned. For now, we'll throw it back to you.
All right, thank you, Luke. Luke Jones updating us on what he knows from the scene, from the Kroger scene out there in the parking lot. As we said, we are covering this story from a number of angles tonight, and our Andrew Ellison is also live tonight at Kroger in Collierville on New Byhalia Road. Andrew, give us an update from your vantage point.
Yeah, more or less, we're essentially on the other side of the parking lot from where my colleague Luke Jones is. Let me get out of the way here and show you this. As you can see, there is essentially a command center of sorts that has been set up on this side of the parking lot. Multiple law enforcement agencies out here. Naturally, Collierville Police, I believe Shelby County Sheriff's deputies, ATF, and state troopers, I believe, as well. A short time ago, maybe about 40 minutes ago now, there were a number of Kroger workers who were huddled out here in the parking lot. Many of them hugging each other, holding each other, crying together, trying to cope with this horrific event. Matter of fact, we spoke with a woman named Bridgenetta Dickerson. She was working one of the cash registers when the shots rang out. She says it sounded like rapid gunfire and says she ran to the back of the store with other employees and tried to hide. But sadly, the horror didn't end there. Take a listen.
And here he comes right behind us, starts shooting. And he kept on shooting. He shot one of my coworkers in the head, and then shot one of the customers in the stomach. And then my other customer got kind of like cuts because of the asphalt. And then that's all I can tell you. But I did see a little glimpse of the guy, and I saw he had like a little service gun, one of those service rifles that's in the military. I'm a little bit still kind of a little shaky, but I'm okay. I got God on my side, and I'm okay. I'm okay.
Now, Collierville police say the call for this active shooter situation came in about 1:30. They say a SWAT team and patrol officers went into the store, going aisle to aisle, getting employees and customers out of the store while attending to the wounded. Police say some employees were hiding in freezers, others in locked offices. Police say one worker had to be evacuated from the roof while he was doing some maintenance up there. In total, for now, police say 13 people were shot. One sadly died, while others were taken to surrounding hospitals with varying degrees of injuries. Police at this time say the shooter is dead, and they believe he killed himself. As I think my colleague Luke Jones mentioned a short time ago, and I believe he got this information from a source, we're hearing that the shooter was an employee who had been working at the sushi stand who was fired today. Now, at last check, officers believe the suspect's vehicle is in the parking lot, but at this time, based on what I've been told, it's unclear if officers have entered that vehicle. As I mentioned earlier, back out here live, throughout the afternoon, we have seen Kroger employees huddling together, trying to comfort each other. Matter of fact, there was a local pastor who came out here and was hugging these employees, holding them, praying with them, crying with them. Certainly just a terrible, terrible incident. The Collierville Chief of Police calling it the most horrific incident in the city's history. I would certainly agree with that. And at this time, for all of these workers, for all of the customers who were out here, every little bit of comfort helps. Back to you.
That it does, Andrew. Thank you very much for that. And as we heard Andrew just say, many of those shooting victims have been taken to Memphis area hospitals, including Regional 1. That's where we find WREG's Stacey Jacobson. Stacey, what's the scene like there right now?
Alex, it's a lot calmer here than it was just about an hour or two ago. When we first got out here, there were multiple ambulances lined up on Jefferson Avenue in front of the hospital. Now there are no more ambulances here. The ones that are completely parked, but we do know that there are some family members that are waiting just outside the emergency entrance to the hospital. They're just in a hold pattern. It seems like we've been told that due to COVID regulations right now in Regional 1, patients are only allowed to have one guest per day. Now, that might be being flexed given that this is a trauma situation, but we just don't know at this point. So they're out there waiting. As far as the numbers go, we know that there are 9 of the Collierville victims here at Regional 1, 4 of them in critical condition, 5 of them in non-critical condition. We also know that there are 2 patients at Methodist University Hospital and another 2 patients from the shooting at Baptist in Memphis. We also know from Le Bonheur Children's Hospital they do not have any victims from the shooting there. So at least a little bit of good news, but of course we still don't know the identity of the one person who was never taken to a hospital and died at the scene. So we're going to continue to monitor here. We're still hearing helicopters going overhead. The street here has reopened to traffic, but there is still just a somber mood around the hospital. A lot of eyes just on the entrance there to see if there's any news. We did check with Regional 1 officials to see if they're going to do any kind of briefing. They say there's no plans for that at this time, and they only provided those patient status updates for in critical condition that I mentioned before. The other two hospitals did not provide any type of condition update, but we know that Regional 1 is the trauma center where they would be taken to. We saw out here multiple agencies, Germantown, Shelby County, Memphis Police, UTHSC Police, ambulances from all of those agencies as well. So this was truly a multi-team effort to get those patients from Collierville here to get medical treatment at Regional 1, and we'll await more updates from the hospitals as we get them. We'll send it back to you in the studio for now.
Casey, thank you very much for that. Our Team 3 coverage continues now with WREG's Jordan James, who's live at Collierville Elementary.
And Jordan, you have been talking to people in the community today. This is, as we heard the police chief say, the most horrific day in Collierville history. What kind of reaction are you getting from the people when you talk to them, the average citizens there?
Yes, Stephanie, just being out here, there's a quiet and somber mood. Many people leaving these campuses wiping tears from their eyes as they reflect on what took place here today when 13 people were shot, one person died. While the shooting took place, the district issued a shelter in place, essentially not letting anyone in or out of the campus. The district said that was made out of an abundance of caution. We caught up with parents while they were picking their children up at the end of class. Here's what they had to say.
You can't ever be too careful in your own community. It's like any other community, but you just generally think of Collierville as super safe, and you take for granted just going to the store or going out with friends or something of that nature. But really, this kind of stuff can happen in any city.
You know, the district tells us that they plan on having grief counselors on hand tomorrow, given the nature of this shooting. But the assistant superintendent said flat out that this impacts everyone, given the size of this community. Reporting here live in Collierville, Jordan James, WREG News Channel 3. All
right, Jordan, thank you very much for that. And you have to really put things in perspective. You can only begin to feel and try to understand what they were going through out there. And if those children, the students, had been also in that area, that would have made a chaotic situation even more frantic.
And like the woman said, you can never take anything for granted, and this just shows you, why you can't.
Steph, you're right about that.
Life can change in a moment. And, we're getting lots of reaction tonight from various people, especially lawmakers. Tennessee lawmakers are reacting on Twitter to this shooting. U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn tweeted, quote, "Our office has been in contact with ATF, TBI, and local authorities on the ground, and we are closely monitoring the situation in Collierville. We are praying for all of the victims." U.S. Representative David Kustoff says, quote, "My office and I are in touch with local authorities and law enforcement in Collierville and have offered resources as necessary. We are continuing to closely monitor the situation and are praying for everyone's continued safety." As we said, lots of reaction tonight, mostly on Twitter, and State Senator Brian Kelsey also responding on Twitter saying, quote, "I offer my prayers to the victims and families affected by the shooting in Collierville today. I am thankful for our first responders for their quick and brave response." And the entire Kroger family is offering their thoughts and prayers. And Alex, you were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, they released a statement to us, Steph, just a short time ago, saying that we are deeply saddened by this incident that occurred at our Kroger store on New Byhalia Road in Collierville. The entire Kroger family offers our thoughts, prayers, and support to the individuals and families of the victims during this very difficult time. We are cooperating with local law enforcement who have secured the store and parking lot. The store will remain closed while the investigation continues, and we have initiated counseling services for our associates. To protect the integrity of the ongoing investigation, we are referring, they say, all questions to the Collierville Police Department. Again, that statement coming from Kroger.
All right, now our Zanetta Lowe was one of the very first reporters on the scene there. Zanetta, you were just getting off work as this was happening, and you saw cars come zooming down the interstate past you. What is the scene like now compared to what it was like when you first arrived?
Well, Stephanie, as I described earlier, the scene was simply chaotic, massive and chaotic. So there's a little bit more calm here now, but this is still a very active and busy scene. I spent some time talking to law enforcement officers who said we should learn more later on once the FBI gets here and they get a chance to comb through more and more details. Of course, Collierville, right behind us, their command post, and that's where you can see still a pretty large gathering of some of the law enforcement officers, many of them just talking, getting a quick drink of water. Collierville Police, Memphis Police, Shelby County Sheriff's Office, lots of folks, of course, here on the scene, as we pointed out earlier. Many of the employees that were here earlier, some of them have gone home, some of them are still here talking, but that scene that we showed you earlier, many of them have found their way to their vehicles, or at least a safe space away from this crime scene. But we spent some time talking to family members and employees earlier who told us they were just trying to stay hopeful and calm in the midst of all of that chaos. We spoke to an employee earlier that you heard from, Bridgenetta Dickerson, who's been here for 30 years, and she spoke to us a little bit about how she managed to do that. Let's take another listen.
When all that had happened, the police came to the back and they said, stay right there, do not move. Because the rest of them came through the back and the rest of them came through the front. That's all I know is they told us not to go nowhere, just stay right there. So I stood there and I asked one of the older ladies that was with me, one of the older customers that was with me, I said, you okay? You okay? She said, yeah, I'm fine. She was shaking, but I talked to her mother and I talked to her daughter. I told her daughter, she's okay. Don't come right now. Wait.
So you can imagine just the amount of strength and resolve that it had to take in order for her to think about not only saving herself, but her fellow coworkers and customers, everyone around her. She told us they had been through training before, and some of that kicked in. Much of it was probably just natural instinct, being able to do whatever you could do to get to safety. I spotted earlier some representatives from Kroger who have been out here on the scene for a while now. I asked them if they had anything to say. I know Alex read off that statement that they sent via email, but they indicated to me that they would be providing an update. I don't know in what form that might come. Maybe they're just going to read that statement at that next press briefing, which is scheduled to take place in just a little under an hour, 10 minutes after 6, Collierville Police told us. So hopefully we'll get a few more details at that time. But the other thing, you know, school buses that were delayed in this area, many of those school children just getting home to their families. So there's this other sense across the community of anxiousness, people just wanting to know that everyone is safe. So a very difficult time for the entire community. I know some Collierville aldermen and other leaders are gathered out here. I know you all read off some of those statements that have been put out via social media from all across the community. I'm sure we'll continue to see those pour in as these folks who work here behind us, who visit this store, who are inside, are going to need a lot of support in the days to come. Reporting live in Collierville, Zanetta Lowe, WREG News Channel 3.
All right, thank you, Zanetta, for your hard work. Long day for Zanetta out there. As I said, she was heading home and passed a lot of the officers who were, you know, going that way also when this happened.
And speaking of those officers, a little bit earlier today, we heard from Chief Dale Lane talk about members of the SWAT team. Once they got to that scene, not knowing what was going on inside, he says they ran straight into the building. They did not hesitate, not a one hesitate.
And you know what Ms. Dickerson just said, and then what Chief Lane said, both Kroger and, of course, the police department had been through some kind of active shooter training.
Just a few weeks ago, a short time ago.
Right. He said that their training happened just, I think, just 2 months ago or so at Collierville High School. And then I don't know when Kroger sent their employees, but that's, you know, and I guess sign of the times that we're living in, that companies know that this is something that you have to prepare yourself for. And you could tell how Ms. Dickerson handled this situation. She said to the person on the phone, she's going to be all right.
That's it.
You know,
Her
she was a
composure was
calming
always
force.
there. That's
Yes,
it. And they
yes.
needed that. She reached out to one of the victims' mothers to say, I will call your mother for you.
Right.
And she was intent on doing that.
Yeah.
So, again, so many heroes out there, to say the least. Our Team 3 coverage now continues with WREG's Andrew Ellison. Andrew, we were talking about the scene going on, especially behind you. We saw law enforcement. They've been gathered there at the Kroger. What's happening at this time?
Yeah, well, as Annetta mentioned a short time ago, I believe she said we are waiting for another press briefing just after 6 this evening. But yeah, if you see behind me, or take a look behind me, I should say, you can see, as we've been showing you throughout our coverage, sort of a command center of sorts that's been set up in this part of the Kroger parking lot. As I mentioned earlier, a number of law enforcement agencies out here, Collierville Police, ATF, state troopers, Germantown Police, Shelby County Sheriff's deputies. So certainly a collaborative effort as this investigation continues. We've been talking about that worker, Bridgenetta Dickerson, throughout our coverage, cash register worker who was in the store when the shots rang out. As we mentioned, she said it sounded like rapid gunfire, says she ran to the back of the store with other employees and tried to hide. We've heard from her a number of times throughout our coverage, but if we have that sound ready to go, I'd like to go back to it one more time just to give any of our viewers who are just joining the coverage a sense of what this was like. Take a listen as she describes what it was like when she was in the back of the store with those other employees trying to hide.
And here he comes right behind us, starts shooting. And he kept on shooting. He shot one of my coworkers in the head, and then shot one of the customers in the stomach. And then my other customer got kind of like cuts because of the asphalt. And then that's all I can tell you. But I did see a little glimpse of the guy, and I saw he had like a little service gun, one of those service rifles. This is military. I'm a little bit still kind of a little shaky, but I'm okay. I got God on my side, and I'm okay. I'm okay.
Now, again, some of the main points of this investigation, I'll take you through it. The call came in about 1:30. As we've mentioned, SWAT team and patrol officers went through the Kroger, going aisle to aisle, getting employees and customers out of the store, attending to the wounded. Just to give you an idea of how horrific it was, police saying that some employees were hiding in freezers, others in locked offices. Again, right now, police say in total that 13 people were shot. One sadly died, others taken to surrounding hospitals. Police say the shooter is dead. At this time, they do believe that he killed himself. Throughout our coverage, my colleague Luke Jones, who I believe got this information from a source, had said that the shooter was a Kroger employee who had been fired. He apparently had been working perhaps at the sushi stand. Another thing I want to mention, and again, something that we have talked about throughout our coverage, at last check, officers believe the suspect's vehicle is in the parking lot. From what I understand, at this time, it's unclear if they've entered that vehicle. And again, to give you an idea of how people have been coming together to try to cope with this, and we've talked about this throughout the afternoon, employees huddling together, holding each other, crying together. A matter of fact, a local pastor who came out here prayed with these workers, held these workers, trying to help them out. Every little bit of comfort in this situation helps. And again, as I mentioned, we are anticipating another press briefing just after 6 this evening. Certainly a developing story. Some unanswered questions yet to be answered. We'll let you know as soon as we learn more. Back to you.
All right, Andrew Ellison, thank you very much. People, imagine being in the shoes of those folks who were at that Kroger, many of whom had just gone to work, as they typically do. Many were there, obviously, to shop. And this one person turns lives upside down.
Yes, yes. And, you know, things are going to be topsy-turvy for a long time. You know, the trauma sets in. You know, that's why the pastor was there, in order to,
and needed.
Right, to bring some calmness and to
all of these, is history. 13 people shot, 1 dead, and 12 recovered.